when there's an injustice against you or someone you love or someone you believe in, stand up. Don't sit down on them, if they need you.
Welcome to Popcorn Planet's Pop Culture Justice, and if you had told me last week I'd be watching the trial of Gwyneth Paltrow's skiing accident, I would have told you you're crazy, but you never know what you're going to get here on Popcorn Planet. So welcome. We are going to recap trial day 1, which is still in action, but we got a lot of stuff to go through. The opening arguments from each attorney, as well as the first witness, the only witness, the most crucial stuff I've been able to watch, clip for you. And if all goes well, we'll keep following this trial for you. I want to see how you guys react to this and if you guys want us to do it, because I'll be honest, it's a lot of work to clip all this stuff and get it all. But I'll have to admit, I got fascinated. Usually celebrity trials is where I will dip my toes in. I feel like I can offer you some more information. And this one is a doozy. I'm torn. I'm legitimately torn on this one. So I'm going to watch it with you guys. I've edited some of the clips like we did Johnny Depp trial style. So, and some of it might be a little longer. So apologies. I tried my best. If there's any editors out there who want to drop me a DM and help collab on this, by all means, please reach out. I'd love to find some more people who can work quick and help and have a good eye for how to do this, because this was very last minute. But welcome, everybody. Thank you guys for being here. Hit that like button before we start. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. Helps a bunch. Hit the bell for all alerts to get notified. A lot of you got notified this time. I'm glad to see it. And leave a comment down below on what you think. Do you want us to keep covering this trial? Let me know, and we will do it. Also, huge thanks to Claire and Steph. They helped behind the scenes a lot today as I was clipping and editing to make sure I didn't miss anything. But let's get to this, shall we? All right. I'm going to try and get Christopher Meltron later. He's in the middle of some stuff, but I did talk to him a bit. He warned me about this, and we weren't sure if it was going to be televised. And then sure enough, it was. And so as it was, I jumped in. And yes, she is in Park City, Utah, Gwyneth Paltrow herself in the courtroom over this ski crash incident. And for those that don't know sort of the summary of things, this retired optometrist, Terry Sanderson, 76, sued for more money, but it ultimately came back to the maximum could be $300,000. And this case has lasted years. The 2016 incident. So a while back, this incident happened at the upscale Deer Valley Resort Ski Lodge. And they're basically arguing over who was negligent. Who hit into who? It's the uphill skier's responsibility to yield to the people down below. And that's sort of the argument. Was it? They're saying, I hit you, you hit me. Let's see what the actual people themselves are saying, shall we? So here she is in the court. Here she is already getting ready. And we didn't get to see her a lot, but when she was there, she was professional. Not going to knock on her. I'm not a huge Gwyneth fan just because the goop stuff, she just seems so entitled to her sort of her ways that if I have any bias towards Gwyneth, it's that. But all my biases getting chucked out the window to see who's responsible here. Is this a celebrity cash grab? And is Terry Sanderson making this up to try and get a quick buck? Or is Gwyneth lying, and did she actually smack into this guy, which caused serious injury? That's going to be the thing that we're all siding. I'll put a vote up in a second, but let's start. I clipped together sort of a 12-minute version of this is Terry's lawyer, I guess is the prosecutor, right? The ones who are going after Gwyneth saying she's responsible. Here is their opening statement.
Ladies and gentlemen, distracted skiers cause crashes. Defendant Gwyneth Paltrow knew that looking up the mountain and to the side while skiing down the mountain was dangerous. And she knew that skiing that way, looking somewhere else, blindly skiing down a mountain by looking up and to the side, was reckless. But before we get into the details of this case, of how Gwyneth Paltrow's neglect, her choices, and her conscious disregard for other people on the mountain all combined together to cause Terry Sanderson to suffer 4 broken ribs and permanent brain damage, we first have to talk how skiers are supposed to ski down a mountain, what the rules of safety are, and the purpose for those rules, and what happens when skiers break those rules. All skiers know that when they are skiing down the mountain, it's their responsibility to pay attention, look downhill, and yield the right-of-way to the skiers below them. Because the skiers below them can't see behind them, it's the uphill skiers' responsibility to yield the right-of-way to those below. And it's never enough to say, well, so what if I crashed into someone that was below me on the mountain? That doesn't mean it's all my fault. They know that skiers may be less experienced and that skiers below them trust that the ones coming behind are paying attention. That's what skiers do. Before they start down a hill, they take account of how many skiers are below them, what those skiers are doing, and they keep their eyes forward down the hill so they can yield the right of way. But some skiers say, well, what's so wrong with looking up the mountain behind me and to the side while skiing down the hill? Just because a crash occurs on the mountain with somebody that was below me, that doesn't mean it's my fault. And some skiers say, well, what if the person below me on the mountain was changing directions quickly? Maybe it's their fault too. And finally they say, look, what's the big deal? You're not that hurt. And it's attitudes like this, choices like these, when crashes happen. And sometimes it's just a bump or a bruise. Sometimes it's a scare or a close call. But sometimes it's worse. Sometimes it's broken bones, a concussion, or permanent brain damage. And that's exactly what happened here. Defendant Gwyneth Paltrow has skied since she was 3 years old and considers herself an intermediate skier. Miss Paltrow
he's also, I see you already commented, he's not the most lively of
has skied about a half a dozen times at Deer Valley Ski Resort. She hires multiple ski instructors for her children, which allows them to skip the lines. The private instructors cost thousands of dollars per day.
Thousands skipping the lines.
On the day of the
Disneyland.
collision, February 26, 2016, Miss Paltrow is skiing at Deer Valley with 9 people, including her 2 children,
Huge entourage.
her future husband, Brad Falchuk, his 2 children, and 4 Deer Valley private ski instructors.
Brad Falchuk of Glee.
Eric Christensen is one of those private ski instructors. He has worked
Moses and Apple were the 2
for
children.
Miss Paltrow's family for a handful of ski vacations in past seasons. Eric Christensen knows the family well enough that one time he sent her son some pottery that he hand makes.
Ooh, guys, these are so close. He made her homemade pottery. They must be besties.
A few minutes before noon, Miss Paltrow's group of 10 meet at the top of Bandana Ski Run to go to the bottom. The snow is packed. Although a green run, Bandana is steep enough for skiers to pick up speed unless they make turns. Slow signs are always at the top. Also at the top of Bandana is a meetup group of about 6 adults. A meetup group is a group that meets online to engage in activities like skiing. Plaintiff Terry Sanderson is in this meetup group. 4 in the meetup group ski down. 4 of those in the meetup group ski down first, then Sanderson skis down to the right. Craig Ramone is another person in the meetup group who skis about 35 feet behind Sanderson. Sanderson and Ramone know each other only through skiing in this meetup group.
Now,
Miss Paltrow, her 2 kids,
clear that this one witness, Ramon, isn't really super close to him.
and their 2 instructors are ready to go down to the bottom of Bandana for lunch. Before they ski, one of Miss Paltrow's children says, Mommy, watch us ski." Okay. The children and their 2 instructors ski to the left. And the 2 instructors are Eric Christensen and Carrie Oakes. Miss Paltrow skis down to the right. She turns her head up to look at her children. As she turns her head back down, she screams, then skis back into the back of Terry Sanderson. She rides back down. They hit the ground hard, and Miss Paltrow bounces off of Terry. The weight of both of them, their bodies, caused Mr. Sanderson's rib cage and his arm to smash into the ground, breaking 4 of his ribs. Sanderson's helmeted head hits the ground, causing a concussion as his brain strikes the inside of his skull. Sanderson is face down in the snow, unconscious. Skiing 35 feet above them, Craig Ramone is the only eyewitness. Ramone skis down and stops just next to them. He asks if they are okay. They say nothing. Ramone, again, is the only witness of this crash. Miss Paltrow is slow to get up. Her son's instructor, Eric Christensen, skis over from the left and stops above Sanderson and screams at Sanderson, who is not moving. "What did you do? What did you do?" Surprised by the crash and Christensen yelling at Sanderson, Ramon thinks, "Why is this Deer Valley guy screaming at Sanderson? He didn't cause this collision." Christensen doesn't let up, so Ramon steps between them. Christensen stops yelling at Sanderson. Sanderson is still not moving. They ask Sanderson if he is okay, but Sanderson only groans. Craig Ramon turns to Paltrow. "Are you okay?" He asks several times. "Are you okay?" She doesn't say a word, and she slides a few feet down the hill. Terry moves a little and groans.
Here's my first of all problem, just to interrupt some commentary. For everything I've seen and we'll see when Gwyneth comes back, she never checks on anybody, is what they're sort of trying to imply, that she just didn't care. And even if this guy hit her, which is what she's going to claim, it's still like, you'd still be like, "Are you okay?" Like, I get it. When you're in a car crash, someone hits you, you're mad, but you're supposed to like at least be like, "Is everybody okay?" And then you can do the "what the hell were you doing?" type of question. But they're really clearly trying to make it like she didn't care at all. She was so mad that this guy stopped short in front of her. It was her fault. But they are claiming, and they're claiming, well, she was looking at her kids, like, "Hey, mommy, look at me," and she's like staring, not paying attention while doing this big hill. When, you know, the laws of skiing, of the road on skis, is to always be cognizant of, aware of who's in front, because you're at a slope, a beginner, some of them are slower, you got to go around them. And she didn't care. She was just plowing down that hill at all speeds and just completely smashed into it. Now, Ramon is this one witness. We're going to hear from him in a bit. He's the only one who sort of has seen it. And Gwyneth's person glides over. "What did you do to her?" is immediately what he says, which I believe, because I'm sure he's like, "Security, it's Gwyneth Paltrow. Oh my God, what did you do to Gwyneth? This is insane, you pleb. How dare you," is how this all sort of, how it feeds. So it does seem a little plausible.
"My ribs." Paltrow turns away and bolts down the mountain to the bottom. Christensen turns to Ramon. "Do you realize your buddy just took out Gwyneth Paltrow?" Sanderson moves more, trying to get his skis around. Eric Christensen steps closer to Sanderson, picks him up by his hands, and stands him up. Snow is caked in Sanderson's
So terrible
goggles.
to lift this guy up.
Christensen turns his skis down the mountain, and he bolts, skiing straight to the bottom, following Paltrow's group, leaving Sanderson and Ramon alone at the crash site. Sanderson is standing but hunched over, mumbling. Ramon says, "Do you think you can ski?" "I think so." Sanderson tries but skis poorly. Ramon says, Stop, you forgot how to ski." "Do you know your name?" "Terry." "Do you know where you are?" "I have no clue." Ramon says, "Let me get some help." Within minutes, a Deer Valley ski patroller, Whitney Smith, arrives with a sled. Smith examines Sanderson, puts him in a sled, and takes him down to the first aid station at the bottom of Bandana. At the first aid station, Sanderson again is evaluated, and he still has some disorientation. His ribs hurt. Whitney Smith tells him he needs to go to an Instacare in Park City. The Instacare says you need to go to an ER room. Terry goes into the VA emergency room. So what does the defense have to say about these things? First, they say, that's not the way this happened.
Now, this is interesting. Sorry, I'm going to go back, but he's referred to like multiple doctors. And now he's going to do a whole spiel about what the defense says, which is a very strange way to like plot that in the juror's head, because even I'm like, okay, these are valid questions. Is he going to actually answer them and negate them? But not really.
He hit me from behind. I know the witness Ramon says he heard me scream and look up and saw the crash. I never saw Sanderson before he hit me. Sanderson was the one who hit me. This wasn't my fault. They also say, the defense, this is all Sanderson's fault. He's the one who can't remember the crash. My ski instructor, Eric Christensen, said he saw Sanderson above me making big turns and going really fast. This is Sanderson's fault. And they say, look, what's the big deal? He's 69 years old. Our doctors say he had some dementia and blindness in an eye and many other problems. Yeah, he broke some ribs, but those will heal. And 85% of people with brain injuries heal. 8 hours later, he wrote to his daughter, I'm famous. That shows he can't be injured, and this is just about celebrity of Miss Paltrow. On behalf of Terry and his family, we contacted Dr. Richard Bain, a neurologist and biomedical engineer.
Now, this is important because basically we have everyone's saying all these things. Their response is, well, we found a doctor to tell us otherwise. Sorry, that's how I see it. Every time there's just an expert doctor who comes in, I'm always a little hesitant because I'm like, well, can you give me more than just this guy's opinion? Because it's easy to buy an opinion, as we learned in the Johnny Depp trial, right, with Amber Heard's experts. So I'm always a little hesitant. So apparently some big doctor came in and said, yeah.
So Dr. Bain, what do you think? Bain says, no, actually, absolutely, she caused this crash. She hit him from behind, which means she was higher on the hill than him. Well, but how do you know? Well, he broke his 4 ribs when she hit his back, knocking him down to the ground, and she landed on top of him, just like Ramon, the witness, said. The only way for his broken ribs on the right side could fracture like this is if she hit him from behind and landed on top of him, pressing his right arm into his chest. That's really the only way to have broken 4 ribs like this, too severely broken.
So wait, the only way it could have happened because she hit it, like, why couldn't if he and then smashed in to her the same way? It doesn't make any sense. So he could have hit a tree, he could have done a million ways. If you have to say his arm hit him in the ribs, this doesn't even make sense. I don't understand why they're even bringing this up. Let's wait and hear from the doctor. But he's like, no, it has to have been Gwyneth who hit it because of the way the ribs are hit, because she must have plowed into him and then he hit the ground like this, or it could have been the other way around. Is how I see it. He could have easily been like, held on tight and then smashed into her and then smashed again in the ground. It makes no other sense.
Well, Dr. Bain, the defense says he should have recovered from the concussion. Well, that makes no sense because he still has symptoms more than 18 months after the crash. That means his brain injury is permanent. Before this crash, Terry was a charming, outgoing, gregarious person. He volunteered for many things. He was a retired eye doctor. He had moved from southern Idaho to Salt Lake City about 10 years ago. He was living a full life, traveling the world, doing everything possible to enjoy his life and guard his health. He did not want a brain injury. He did everything possible he could to fix his brain injury.
Then don't go skiing. I'm sorry. And I see a lot of you say in the comments, skiing is dangerous, guys. And you have to sign waivers before you even start. That it's at your own risk. It's just kind of a ridiculous idea that when you go skiing, that you aren't aware that you're putting yourself at risk of serious injury, brain damage, or death. So I'm just a little confused as to, like, clearly there was an altercation. Somebody bumped into somebody. It happens at these places. I don't understand how this is some sort of clear thing. Now, I want to go to the other lawyer. Here's Gwyneth's lawyer. Now, here's where things get interesting. This guy's more interesting. If you were bored of the last guy, I was too. But get ready for this. Ready? So here's Gwyneth's lawyer stepping up. And thanks to Claire for helping me clip of this. We're going to play some clips from him.
Tie goes to the defendant. So they have to tip. That's
He's talking about the Lady Justice and the scales of justice and how they have to deem who's worthy.
That's the weighing. And then you see the sword.
That's Lady Justice.
Now, the sword can be I'm seeking justice, so I'm proactively fighting it. And sometimes Lady Justice is actually seen with a shield. Let me suggest that that sword is being used to defend a meritless claim, a false allegation. Really kind of an offensive one, that she somehow left him an unconscious man and bolted, and it's I can tell you we believe it to be utter BS.
Objection, Your Honor. Argument. He's supposed to present what he's going to show, not argue it.
We believe it to be. It's fair, isn't it?
Oh, sustained. It is bordering on argument, counsel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Isn't it? I just got a Lane flashbacks for a second. I mean, it's a fair. He was arguing an argument. Well, it's a fair argument. I mean, he corrected himself. Okay.
He's suing for $3 million. Okay. I'll tell you what. I'm going to hit damages.
He was suing for $3 million, but he can't get $3 million. It's now $300,000
later. I want to hit the merits of the case first. So the burden of proof, I wanted to emphasize, and then instruction 11 says, don't abandon your common sense. So this can look, you're going to hear from brain experts and a lot of people to talk about this, but don't abandon your common sense. That's very important. I also want to just reference to you that you should pay attention more to the records before someone's thinking lawsuit than the records after someone's thinking lawsuit.
Objection, argument, Your Honor. This isn't open statement. This is argument.
Sustained.
You're going to see.
Okay, now I'm going to go. Another.
Okay, so we're going to all.
Now here's the POV of what. There's a lot. This was very long. She picked some clips for me because I was editing the other one, and I saw a lot of this. But this is now the POV, like point of view of what happened from Gwyneth's perspective, according to him.
Be down. Gwyneth is a conservative skier. She always skis on the far right. So if it's like a highway, fast people go on the left. I don't know if it's the same, but it's far right, and then
I don't know if it's the same, but I'm going to tell you like it is.
and kind of small curves. And she's generally watching her kids, but she's not specifically watching them because they have their instructors.
Gwyneth, you need a new lawyer.
She's skiing,
This is her
enjoying
lawyer,
herself, and she hears, suddenly she sees two skis appear between her skis. And a man comes up right behind her. Now, they're not going fast. That's kind of the odd thing here. He comes up almost body to body like this and starts groaning.
Ouch.
She doesn't know what's going on. What's going on? Am I being assaulted? She's moving forward, and then she's like, they begin falling to the right, and she's feeling freaked out, I think is a fair statement. And he hits down, apparently his side and his head, and she is essentially falling on him. But keep in mind, his skis are intertwined now with hers. Her first reaction is get away from this. And so she's trying to get away. What has just happened? Now, she only has to think about this for a few seconds to realize, okay, I'm not being assaulted. But this fellow, she had a more colorful word, has just run into me. And she said, what are you doing? Or words to that effect. And he's like, words to the effect, I didn't see you. And then there's a question, well, who ran into who? And he says, you ran into me? And Gwyneth's like, no, you ran square right into me. And he said, I'm sorry. He doesn't deny saying, I'm sorry. He doesn't remember it, but he doesn't dispute it. Now, she's still ticked off. In fact, much has been said about the so-called only eyewitness. So you're going to hear from him this afternoon.
Okay, the picture of Lady Justice is because he was obsessed with Lady Justice. I think there's more coming, but he was obsessed. And yes, this is Gwyneth's perspective. She's saying he came behind her, his skis underneath her skis. But we're going to hear from the witnesses, and that's not what they said. They said she smacked into him. So it's going to be a he said, she said of what happened. But there's one witness from Ramon, this Ramon guy who's on Terry's meetup group. Not like crazy big friends, but meetup. If you've ever gone to like meetup.com and you go meet them up for a group to go hiking or something, it's like a group you meet. He knew this guy. He knew of him. They were colleagues. They weren't friends. And but they knew each other. They're polite. And he's the one who saw all this.
I don't have to give you commentary on him. But he will say he heard and turned. He heard and turned. That's what the Deer Valley guy says. Eric Christiansen, one of the instructors, said he heard and turned and then saw. So I'll comment just a minute more on Mr. Ramon in just a minute.
So he just said that's what Mr. Marone, that's not what Mr. Ramon says. That's what the Deer Valley guy says. So he's now completely confusing and misleading on who's saying what. This guy's awful. Like awful.
You'll hear about him.
He's like,
Back
I
to
messed up my
Gwyneth's.
monologue, so it's like I have to go back. When you mess up a monologue as a lawyer, it's real bad news. Just get some notes.
Story. She's backed up. She's safe. Eric's on the scene. He's helping people get their skis off. And he's trying to figure out what happened. Now, Eric, backing up, they start.
So Gwyneth's person's trying to figure out what happened. I thought his skis were in her skis. They're knocked over. Wouldn't the entangled skis be a very easy thing for her own witness to corroborate?
At the hill. This is at the very beginning of the hill, by the way. It's not halfway down. It's not 3/4 down. It's the first quarter down.
That still could be fast. That means nothing.
He's trying to figure out what happened, but he had seen Gwyneth go down. Then Terry, who was cutting across the whole thing. If I'm misstating it, we're going to have to defer to their testimony when they testify, but I'm trying to give you a big picture.
If I'm lying, well, then I'll correct it later, but I'm just trying to give you a big picture of my own recollection that's maybe not truthful. So let me keep going. Did you hear that? Gwyneth, you need a new lawyer.
He's making a wide, much wider turning. And guess what? He's blind in one eye and has decreasing vision in his left eye. He has hearing aids. He's had heart, stroke, many other medical conditions. Just weeks earlier, he had told his doctor, I'm feeling old suddenly. And Terry's story, by the way, is that he's coming across and he sees a struggling younger woman, not younger, a struggling female skier. And he wants to be really clear to stay away from her. So he's actually turning his head to clear the beginner skier. And what happens? He comes right upon Gwyneth. He back turns with his better eye, and suddenly she's there. So the Deer Valley report, do you mind? By the way, Deer Valley is not a party to this lawsuit. The court dismissed Deer Valley. So Gwyneth's not Deer Valley. Deer Valley stands on its own.
Objection to argument, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Deer Valley stands on its own, and I don't know if they're going to assert like there's some massive cover-up or what, but...
Objection, argument.
Sustained.
Okay, back one, I
say
think.
that.
James.
That's 2 sustains this guy got already. Meaning he messed up. He's not allowed to say what he said.
By the way, I think the goal is to give everyone a little better access with these little screens, but it hasn't worked out today. So Eric Christiansen, remember, he hears and he turns, and he goes directly over there. He's there.
You remember, guys? Remember that guy he didn't really explain very well? Okay.
Within seconds. And he's seen what happened. And what does he say? Can you blow up the first half? Chief complaint, male skier took her out from behind. He's putting this together, and then let's do the bottom thing, and then we won't focus on exhibits anymore really today on this, but first thing male skier said, does that say said? I can't read it. Anyone?
Stated
was that she appeared right in front of him, thus admitting that he was the uphill skier. She never saw him because he came in from behind.
That's just funny that he's calling out the reading, because when we get to the first witness, you're going to see that.
That was the evaluation from the Deer Valley skier, from the Deer Valley instructor. Interestingly, Eric Christiansen, the ski instructor, is trying to figure out.
It's Eric
all right,
Christiansen. This guy's like doesn't know how to say it.
This is the first question, by the way. Everyone okay? Everyone okay? Now, they were both, any collision, you take a body blow, it takes a little while to gather your senses, recognize, okay, I'm safe, okay. But his answer was he was okay. And he was on his feet. This took minutes. Gwyneth was not happy still.
Now, I know you said the first guy was boring, but I purposely didn't edit this. Claire gave me this clip, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to edit this so you can really get a sense of how bad Gwyneth's lawyer is.
Moses, who you're going to meet, he's now 16, but he was a 9-year-old at the time.
That? I'm sorry. I know because I'm on Popcorn Planet, but this juror doesn't know who Moses is? You mean like the one who parted the sea? Moses is there?
Was with his instructor. His instructor started to come over. Moses came over, and he saw his mom, and he was worried. He hadn't seen his mom. First of all, she's on the ground, and she's yelling at this guy. She might have said something like, "What the F word?" And I think she might have said the F word. We're going to figure that out. And she's mad. And he said, I haven't seen my mom like that. And he was sort of personally a little upset. All right. And then, okay, everyone's okay? Everyone's okay. And Eric Christiansen, the ski instructor, said, a ski patrol person, who's different than the instructor, a ski patrol person came by and said, everyone okay? And he said, Mr. Sanderson and Craig Ramon, who you're going to meet this afternoon, talked to each other and said, we're okay.
Sorry, I got to, Joanne, you get the win so far. Who's going to get a better comment? Oh my God, she went from gooped to duped with this lawyer. Bravo, bravo.
And they said, we're okay, and the ski patrol left. All right, now everyone's okay. And then I think Eric Christiansen, okay, Gwyneth, you can go join your family. By the way, her family's waiting for her at the bottom. Brad,
okay, you can go. How about like checking in on this clear old man who's blind, and they use that to their advantage to show how old and he can't help. But she's just like, oh, you stupid old man, you old pleb, how dare you enter my stratosphere of goop? Oh, may I leave now, Eric Christiansen? Yes, Gwyneth, you may go. I will make sure to check this out for you. Goodbye.
Interestingly, had heard it and looked up and saw his wife on the ground, and had come back up, and she had skied down to be with him, not to leave. By the way, you'll never hear the words hit and run in this whole trial. This was not a hit and run.
Well, why are you putting it in my head, you dummy? By the way, this thing I don't want you to hear or think about, I'm going to tell you it now. It's hit and run. But it's not a hit and run, okay? Because I told you it wasn't. Okay. Now.
The plaintiffs even had a ski expert evaluate it, and he said it's not a hit and run. So take that out of your mind. All right.
Does this guy have one of Gwyneth's vagina eggs up in his... I don't understand. Why is he so weird? I don't get it.
So, all right, now what's going on? Okay, everyone's good to go. Everyone went. Terry, right before he left, apparently, Eric Christiansen said, your buddy just took out Gwyneth Paltrow. No one knew who she was. By the way, she had a helmet and goggles and everything. Guess who who denied that? Craig Ramon. Their so-called first skier has a whole different crazy story.
Objection, argument, Your Honor.
That is argument.
Overruled?
Oh, then I
Overruled.
reassert my crazy comment. All right, so I'll continue the story. Everyone's good to go? Good to go. Okay, then they now hear she's Gwyneth Paltrow. And they're like, okay, well, let's ski down. So they ski down a ways further. And Terry, I shouldn't call him Terry, Mr. Sanderson,
Sorry, I got distracted
does
by my
not
kid who's
feel
so much more entertaining than
good.
this guy. Terry, shouldn't call him Terry.
Feels confused, he says. So you'll hear them like, well.
So just to be clear, I was like hearing Gwyneth out. I'm like, okay, this could be some cash grab. But I see that the pull's shifting as you guys watch this. This guy's bad. This guy's bad. It's hard to not be like, well, okay, what am I listening to? This guy sounds like goop.
Oh, let's get a ski patrol person now. We had previously waved one off, but now we've changed our mind. We need ski patrol. Toboggan person comes named Whitney, and she pulls up, and the first thing Whitney says is, "What happened?" And Mr. Sanderson says, "I don't know. I'm not sure." He did not say, "I was just hit." Interestingly, Craig...
Of course, because he's like, totally discombobulated. And do you believe anything this lawyer's telling you? He's literally admitted twice. I don't know if I'm telling you the truth right now, but, they'll tell you later. But let me paraphrase anyway.
Ramon, the friend, did not correct that statement. So Craig Ramon, by the way, never once told Eric Christiansen she hit him. Didn't say one word about it. Didn't say we need help. Part of this crazy story is
this is a valid part, he's saying it so badly. But again, someone said in the comments, and you're right, just because he's a bad lawyer doesn't mean she's guilty, but doesn't help her case. But this is an important part. It is strange that this witness didn't say something like, she hit him. What are you doing? She hit him. She plowed right into him. He was just minding his own business. You'd think the witness associate would have said that. Now, he doesn't say that. He admits this in the witness testimony we're going to see in a minute. So this is telling. So keep that in mind.
He says, Mr. Sanderson was out cold for 2 minutes, unconscious. Now, do you know how long it is to look at a person who might be dead or dying for 2 minutes and not do one thing? He didn't do anything. It's not true. Everyone on the scene was saying, absolutely. If he was out, it was for seconds, not 2 minutes. Christiansen's going to just ignore someone who's out cold. He's saying, I'm okay. He's on his feet. He's declining ski patrol. Very different story than someone who's out cold. I said, did you start CPR, where you check his breathing and stuff? No, I didn't do any of it. You'll see there are a lot of ridiculous things, I think, about it.
Objection, Your Honor, an argument.
Sustained?
Gwyneth didn't have a helmet. He says Gwyneth didn't have a helmet or a face mask or a goggles on her. She had those things. She doesn't go around skiing. She's safe conscious, and she's probably a little celebrity conscious about
celebrity conscious.
I don't do that.
What is celebrity? She's probably a little celebrity conscious. I mean, I will admit, if there's anybody who's celebrity conscious, it's Gwyneth Paltrow. Dude, she made a candle about her vagina smell. You don't get much more celebrity conscious than that. What is is this a positive or a negative? She's pretty celebrity.
We'll address that this afternoon more, but let me continue the story. So he's on the toboggan. Now, Whitney, this toboggan person's pretty smart. She goes, hey, I want you to remember, I'm going to tell you a few things, and I want you to remember them. And they're unique things. We'll get into it later. And at the bottom of the hill, she's checking them, and he remembers all of them. In fact, he's a poster. So he posts a very happy, smiling picture of the toboggan person and a very articulate comment repeating, like she went to Michigan, she won this ski thing, very detailed, and he posts it. Okay, well, that's nice, but it's not something you do if you've just suffered a major traumatic brain injury. All right, so articulate, everything. At the bottom, he's talking, he's conversing. This isn't like garbled, crazy talk where you think head injury is important. So, by the way, he takes a picture, so he likes to take pictures and post things on Facebook and everything, of Ramon and one of the women he was skiing with, and they're all smiles. Like you'd post, you wouldn't know, like this is taken by someone who just suffered a major head collision or something. And boom, it's posted. Okay, great. This is good because we're getting real life things from him and his own fingers in his own head. Then he goes to an Instacare person. The Instacare person says, no signs of confusion. Okay, that's a big issue, right? If we're worrying about... by the way, there's a nurse on your panel, but I take it from our experts that you'll hear that if you hit your head and you say, I have confusion, essentially you are diagnosed. I mean, you have a concussion. I mean, so maybe it's more than that. I might be simplifying it, and forgive me if I am, because nothing I'm saying is evidence, but I'm trying to give you the story. So
the story that I want to tell you, not the truth.
The guy there is like, okay.
Is this guy in the accident? No.
I can't rule out problems, so you should get a CT. A CT is imaging of the brain, and he ends up going to the VA hospital the next day. The CT, it's interesting. So he had a stroke-like event and lost his right eye, like 6 years earlier. So we have imaging of his brain 6 years earlier, and guess what? There are defects in that new CT. But guess what? They were there before. And guess what their experts didn't do? Go back and look to see if the problems in his current imaging is present on his 6-year-old CT of the brain. It's kind of crazy. They're interviewing him. He's telling them things. But no one's actually trying to go back and sort of say, look, is his brain different? Okay. You were going to hear from some daughters. By the way, it was reference to 2 daughters.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
And it's not pleasant. I mean, like, half of the trial is going to be on this kind of stuff, because if someone says, I have a severe $3 million brain injury caused by you, we have I have a lawyer obligation to represent my client and say, what's true? And I'm telling you, he does have confusion. He does have strained relationships. He does forget some things. But guess what? It's a normal aging and his pre-existing problems.
So he's being an ageist. It's just because he's old, guys.
Put that up. He's
old,
a
so it's his
poster,
fault.
okay? Big on Facebook, so there are lots of pictures of him.
This is really long, so we just got a few. I just played you a lot of it, but we got a couple more quick clips to show you the craziness.
Which helps us. It helps us understand him. What does he post to his daughters? I'm famous.
Now this part's interesting.
He doesn't post I'm hurt. He doesn't post googly gawk. Is that the right word? Confusing stuff. Could you highlight the
Goop?
bottom
I think you're trying to
half?
say goop. Goop what? Googly goop? Trying to get a goop plug in?
I'm famous. This is at 8 p.m. The accident had occurred just before lunch. So 8 hours later, he's home. And then he said, here's what happened. From my friend and eyewitness, this Craig. And he posts it. He posts it. Wouldn't you be
way to
interested
give
to know what
everybody-
this post
Now everybody has their email addresses. This is mean. Couldn't have like blurred those or blacked those
Was-
out? Jeez.
in real time? This video or photo is apparently video.
Objection, argument.
Your Honor.
But this is a good question.
That's just trying to explain the evidence here.
So you've got evidence.
He's like, Your Honor, I'm just doing the evidence. I don't know. It's just gobbledygook I'm giving you.
This is evidence that will come in.
That it's not there.
Okay. Overruled as to that.
Wouldn't we all like to know? I apologize. We're okay?
Yes.
Wouldn't we like to know what this was?
He's like, sorry, I'm in my big speech, Judge. Back off. I'm about to raise my voice for effect. Oh, are we okay, Judge? Okay. Wouldn't we like to know? You can't handle the truth.
Objection, argument, Your Honor. This is argument.
Sustained.
It's nowhere to be found.
Now, this is weird.
We're in a courtroom 7 years later trying to figure out what happened. It was right there. Nowhere to be found. And then, can you do the top half? This is his daughter. I can't believe this is all on GoPro.
What? What?
I can't believe this is all on GoPro. Where's the GoPro?
Dad, I cannot believe how unlucky and how crazy this all.
Do we
can't
want
believe this is
it?
on.
We want it.
Also, can't believe it's all on GoPro. What are the chances? I'm so glad you're okay. How was your evening? Sounds like he sent a video of the GoPro of hitting Gwyneth Paltrow, and now they've lost that evidence. You'd think that evidence would be crucial in your case against Gwyneth Paltrow to prove she hit you, but somehow this GoPro footage went missing. This doesn't look good for the Sanders. Am I crazy? And as bad as this attorney is, as bad as he's been, this evidence is pretty hard to deny.
It's nowhere to be found. I'm glad you're okay. He's telling his daughters, I'm okay. All right.
And then we have this weird dollar thing.
$1 bill. Gwyneth was hurt by Mr. Sanderson's negligence. When he came up behind her, paralleled her, and went. She says she has a prior knee problem. She was worried about it. She separated from him with help. Then boyfriend came up, and she is upset. She has anyone sustaining a blow is upset. She's sore. She never went to a doctor, but for this, by the way. But it rattled her, and it physically hurt her. When they were dismissed, they went down to the bottom of the hill, and who was waiting for her? Her daughter, Apple, now 18, then 8, I think. No.
11.
11. Sorry, I got that mixed up. So,
Why is he holding $1?
and Apple's like, what took you so long? And she said, some a-hole just ran into me. I think she used the real word.
Why does it matter? Why does he keep saying this? And also, Clur, does he ever explain what the dollar's for?
All right, why is this important? She didn't say, I just ran into someone. She was mad, and over lunch she was mad. And then after lunch, she said, that guy kind of hurt me. And I'm not going to ski the rest of the day. There's even a text from Gwyneth's own phone to Eric Christiansen, and they're like, Moses wants to know if you're coming. I'm going to go in. That guy kind of hurt me. And she went in, and she lost her full day pass that she had paid for, and she only got to ski half a day.
Oh my, guys, do I need to replay that? She didn't get to finish skiing, and she paid for that day pass. She only got half a day in. What a travesty.
In addition, she had paid for her instructor, who now was diverted from teaching her son Moses
Oh my God, how is she going
to
to afford
take care
this?
of
She saved up
this
all year
collision
to buy
issue.
those 3 instructors
And
for
so-
thousands of dollars.
We ask you for $1. Now, this is a lot to go through for $1.
We ask you for $1? What?
But it's an actual dollar. Because she had come with her family to enjoy a
We ask you for $1 because she paid thousands of dollars, so we want $1? What on earth is this guy talking about?
family
Objection.
vacation.
No, this is again argument. This is classic argument.
These are facts.
This is closing argument.
Overruled as to the comments that are being made right now, those are facts?
Yeah, and let's keep the interruptions to a minimum, would we?
Well, don't argue then.
Well, counsel,
Thank
go
you.
ahead. I mean, the objections have been valid, some of them.
Yep, they were. He lost 2. Let's not forget he gets a little cocky there.
So, she came for a family vacation. Half the afternoon was kind of ruined. And so that dollar
Kinda ruined. It was kinda ruined, guys.
is important to us.
So that $1 is important to us.
It's important to my client. Let me hit a few other things.
So I think this is like the Taylor Swift thing. Like, we don't want anything. We're suing for the $1 because it's the last thing. We don't want the money. It's like Johnny. It's not about the money, but him holding around the $1 that she already has. Like, that was so bad.
Mr. Sanderson threw a press conference, and he said, Gwyneth,
Objection, Your Honor. This is irrelevant.
this is
It's
factual.
also argument.
This is factual.
Sustained. There hasn't been. Would you please approach?
So they approach here. This
King
isn't
Kong.
factual.
Came out of the She came out of the jungle like King Kong, screaming. When asked in real time by Gwyneth, he said, I apologize. I'm sorry. When asked by the ski instructor, he said, she appeared right in front of me. And when asked by the toboggan person, he said, I don't remember. I don't know. Or I'm not sure. Mr. Sanderson said his memories of this case get better over the years. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay.
That's not how memory works.
Oh, but I'm going to say that. I lied. That's all
One
I'm gonna
more
say,
comment on
except
damages.
for That's not how memory works.
Plaintiffs, he was a vet. We salute him for that. He went
Give
to
him
the
that
VA,
But he's old and blind and awful.
and he went at 1 month. He went at 1 year. And I guess 1 year and 2 months, and 1 year at 3 months. Okay, so 3 different assessments,
even know what he's
neuropsych
reading.
assessments. This is where a smart person is trying to figure out, and he is saying, I'm more confused since the ski accident.
Yeah, it's older.
And they're doing
Got
testing
hurt.
on him. These are not hired experts, like many of the people you're going to hear.
Now
These are his VA people, and he's complaining, and they're doing assessments on him. And what does he do? Above average, above average, above average, above average, above average. A year and 2 months. High IQ, high verbal comprehension, high perceptive reasoning.
So I'm confused. This proves it's
Working
not
memory
damaged.
is average. Processing speed,
So is she
average.
guilty and it's not
Overall
bad?
cognitive
Still
ability,
confused.
intact. 1 year and 3 months later, goes to someone else. These are 3 different people. 3 different people. He's alert. His affect is appropriate. His speech is normal. His thought process is logical, linear, and goal-oriented. All good. His perception, no disturbance. Attention, concentration within normal limits. Recent memory within normal limits. Remote memory within normal limits. All normal or above normal.
I mean, that's, I guess, good evidence.
These are not the hired people. Let me just say that.
You said that, but you said it again weirdly. These are not the hired people. And that was it. Okay, and then I think there was some little closing or whatever, but there you go. That was their response. All right, now I have the witness. They're live now with another witness. They're still doing some stuff. We haven't missed a lot, so we've been able to fast forward through a lot of this. But I want to see this witness because this is kind of important.
This is your
This is
Facebook
important.
buddy.
Because this, oh wait, sorry, hold on. Let me see. This is the witness.
Do you know what the rules of the road?
Now, this is the guy who saw it. So I want you to see how they interviewed him. It's about 11 minutes. I should add chapters in this. I'll try to do it on the after so you can zoom around. But this is the witness who saw it all, which is an important part of this, right? Because he's the guy who allegedly saw it. We're going to see if he's credible later when they do cross, etc. But I want you to hear from the witness and see if you believe him.
Order for skiing.
Yeah, the first thing is ski under control.
I'm going to overrule it as to this
So
witness's
They asked like the
personal
rules
knowledge
of skiing.
as a skier
They
and not as an
sustained-
expert.
He's not an expert at skiing, but he's an expert on just being a skier, not an expert. He's just, here's his expertise as a skier who's skied a lot, but he's not an
The
expert.
rules of the road for skiing.
Okay. Skiing under control.
Yes.
Okay, what's
These are
another
the
rule of
rules.
the road?
The downhill skier has the right of way.
There's sometimes said yield to the downhill skier. Yield,
Yes.
okay? Because downhill skiers don't have eyes in the back of their head, do they?
No.
Can't see you coming.
No.
Okay, what's another rule of the road?
You never leave an accident. You know, if two people are, collide, you never leave. You wait until you make sure everybody's okay, and then you actually give in contact information to each other.
Exchange information.
Yes.
You have a good memory of that day?
Yes.
Okay. Was there anything that Terry showed you or demonstrated that showed that he was impaired in any way that day?
No.
Okay. Was he bumping into anything?
No.
Was he falling over?
No.
How far down from the top of the lift were you, roughly?
Well, the collision happened probably, I'm guessing, maybe 200-300 yards down from the top of the lift.
Okay. And how far away were you when you noticed there was a collision from Terry?
Probably about 35-40 feet.
Okay. Now,
So he brings out the tape measure. Also, this lawyer coughed a lot. Like the whole trial.
That's
Cut it out for
43
you.
feet.
43 feet.
He had a nasty cold cough that was really distracting. But there it is. You see? So, far, but not too far. And far enough to see. They wanted to clearly make that a big sight to see. That, oh, yeah, see? And here she is. She needs some candy like Johnny
Tell
had.
them what you saw.
Well, we were skiing down the bend, down the run, and then I heard this yell, this scream, and then I looked over, and then about maybe 1 or 2 seconds, and then I heard the scream, and then I see this skier just slam into the back of Terry, and she just slammed him.
How hard?
Very hard. Very hard. And so Terry, she hits him.
That felt prepared to me. It was very like, how hard? Very hard. They really wanted to reinforce
Right
that.
directly in the back. And so then his skis are like, when you're skiing like this, his skis actually, the tips go out like this, and he falls face down. So he's kind of spread eagle, and he goes face down, and Gwyneth's on the top of him, and they go down like this, and then Gwyneth hits him, and then bounces off and slides to the right about 5 or 10 feet.
Now, at the time, you didn't know.
And again, someone made a good point. She's not very large, Gwyneth. It still would hurt, but she's pretty, I don't want to be mean and judge her by size, but, could that really cause that amount of damage? How much does she weigh? Not a lot. She makes a whole big point about how little she eats and how tiny she is.
No, it was Gwyneth, did you?
No.
Found that out later.
Yes.
So the skier that hit him from behind hit him hard.
Yes.
And Terry goes down. Does he stop abruptly?
Yes.
How loud was the scream?
It was loud.
What happened to the two bodies after you saw the collision? Briefly.
So the two bodies. So Terry stops, and then Gwyneth kind of slides down about 5 or 10.
On top of him or the side or what?
No, she bounced off the top of him, and then she slid down to the right side, and she slid down about 5 or 10 feet. And so here's basically downhill. Terry's here, and Gwyneth's right here.
What did you do?
I skied down, and then I went on to the left side of Terry.
Were you uphill or downhill from Terry?
I was uphill.
Uphill?
Well, I was down.
Bit?
I was uphill, but then when I stopped, I was downhill. I was about equal with Gwyneth, and so Terry was when Terry went down, Gwyneth slid to the down 5 or 10 feet, and I came to the other side, and then I skied down and I was about down about 5 or 10 feet, and so Gwyneth and I were basically, when she got up, we were facing each other. Well, when I got there, I just was asking Terry, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And Terry, he wasn't moving. His face was actually in the snow, and his arms are out like this, and his helmet's stuck kind of in the snow. And so I'm asking him, and then Gwyneth gets up, and then I'm asking her, "Are you okay?" And then from there.
Let me stop you there for a second. From there, at that time, did Gwyneth Paltrow, we now know it was her, say anything at all, utter any words at all to you?
No, I asked her if she was okay, and she just looked at me, and then I asked her again.
She's standing up or down on the ground?
She was standing up. She got up pretty quick. Yeah, it's Eric. He showed up. He had a green Deer Valley coat on, so he was an employee. Well, he came up, and he came up to the left of me, and then he starts yelling at Terry, and he's like, "What'd you do? What did you do?" And Terry's not moving. He's not moving. His face down, and he keeps saying,
"It's weird here." This is the part we have to remember. Why didn't he chime in and say, "Well, Gwyneth hit him"? Dude, I saw it. Gwyneth hit him. You'd think, right? Put yourself in that situation. I know. Sorry, that's what I would do. If I'm on that jury, I'm thinking, well, wait a second, it's true. You watch this. You watched her plow into him, and then her ski instructors are yelling at him, "What'd you do? What'd you do?" Wouldn't you be very quick to be like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! She hit him. I saw it. She hit him." But he wasn't that way.
what did you do? And so it got, and he was yelling when he came down, but then it just kept getting worse and worse, kept getting higher and higher, and it's like, what did you do? And so
more of a point to step in as the person who saw it happen, right?
So I was
now, before you go any further,
okay.
Describe for the jury the level of hostility that you observed from a green-jacketed Eric Christensen toward Terry on the ground.
He was very hostile.
Describe it.
He was just yelling, and he was yelling to the point where I was thinking, I didn't say anything, but I was thinking to myself, man, you need to mellow out here. And so I got to the point where I was tired of it. I was concerned about Terry. Terry's not moving, and so then I ended up. He was down a little bit lower than I was, so I just moved a few feet in front of him. So he was looking, so he'd be yelling right at me, and then when I did that, he stopped yelling at him.
Did the level of hostility concern you as a person?
Yes.
Explain why.
Well, Terry was.
Again, this feels like a script that he has to follow. And later on, he does admit that he met with these lawyers without Gwyneth's lawyers present. So it does feel a little bit like this was all prepared. And again, why aren't you saying, why? No, I corrected him. I told him this didn't happen. It's a very weird part of the story that didn't get told. And especially if you were faking it, you'd think you'd just say it. But no, he never admitted that in the depositions, etc. So they're sort of stuck in that story, it seems. And I find it odd that he wouldn't have told this green-jacketed employee, dude, she hit him. If that's what happened, why wouldn't you step up and be like, whoa, 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 to protect your friend and the guy who's screaming, whoa, calm down. She hit him. I saw it happen.
Was out. I mean, he was, and I was concerned about, Terry was, what was wrong with Terry. And I just was, I didn't know how bad he was hurt. I didn't, and when he was yelling, I was just, it just made me just, I didn't know what to think. I didn't know, just the way he was yelling. But I was very concerned about Terry. Well, she ended up taking off and going down, mm-hmm. and then she went down, and then she
How far?
From where she was standing, she probably went down about 15, 20 feet.
Okay.
And
stop.
And she came around and stopped, and then Eric said Gwyneth Paltrow just took out your buddy. And
I'm sorry, he said what?
He said Gwyneth Paltrow just took out your buddy.
Oh, your buddy took out Gwyneth Paltrow? What did Christensen
Your
say?
Honor, let's make sure the witness is testifying and not the lawyer.
I mean, what just happened there? He clearly messed up, but then the lawyer's like, oh, no, correct yourself because you're off script. And the bad lawyer caught it and rightfully just admitted, yeah, can we make sure that the witness is on the stand and not what the lawyer on the stand? Because that's totally what just happened.
I'll rephrase.
What's the question?
Yeah. And I'm talking about a res gestae event here.
He's like, oh, crap, I just messed up.
What did you hear at that scene at that time in this excited condition? What did you hear and from whom?
Well, he told me that Gwyneth.
What just happened? Hold on.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
This is res gestae, Judge.
Overruled?
Thank you.
Yeah, Eric told me that Gwyneth Paltrow took out Terry.
Gwyneth Paltrow took out Terry?
Yes.
Okay. Was he accusing Terry of taking out Gwyneth Paltrow, too?
No.
Okay, all right. At this time, and before Miss Paltrow left the scene, okay, did she offer her name?
No.
Okay. Did she offer any contact information?
No.
Did she offer any identifying information?
No.
Okay. Did she ask if Terry was okay?
No.
Did she ask if Terry was hurt?
No.
Did she ask if anyone needed any kind of help?
No.
Did she ask if she could leave the scene?
No.
Okay. Now, you said she skied down a little bit. Tell the jury what happened then. After she skied down the hill 20 feet or so, like you said, what happened then?
Yes. So so she stopped, and then that's when I backed up, and I backed up, and that's when I backed up and was going to go down and check on her, and then she just bolts and just takes off. And
Where did she go?
She just went straight down, and then there was just went straight down, and there was a guy and a kid that was, I believe, was with Gwyneth, and they actually stopped about 20-25 feet above us on Terry's right side, so they were basically above.
Anyway, this guy keeps going and going. You're getting a little bit of a sus vibe, I assume, from him. And I want to jump on the cross. So after they came back, the cross then jumped on that flub that he messed up.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
It encompassed about 300 pages of transcript. Do you recall that?
This was the
yes.
deposition, 300 page worth. They did a ton.
Did you once, in that deposition, say that Eric Christensen told you that Gwyneth took Terry out?
No.
Did you say that today?
Yes.
No. What I meant to say, I get dyslexic when I get nervous. No, he said that you.
I get dyslexic when I'm nervous. I mean, I guess that's a thing. I don't want to be too mean. I'm sure it happens, but it's probably more you're just not being truthful. What do you guys
Buddy
think?
just took out Gwyneth.
All right. I was a little confused by some of the questioning. Okay, so Christensen always said your buddy took out Gwyneth Paltrow, right?
Yes.
All right. Did you correct him?
No.
Wouldn't that be the perfect time to say, you are incorrect, sir?
I wasn't. He was yelling, and I didn't want to get into an argument with him.
You had.
Your Honor, may he finish his answer, please?
Did you finish?
Yeah, I didn't want to have a conversation with him.
So there's the Deer Valley representative, true?
Yes.
And he's told you what he believes happened, true?
Yes.
And you didn't say a word.
No.
But 7 years later, you're saying it now, right?
Saying what?
That Gwyneth took out your buddy, not the other way around.
No, but he didn't. No, Gwyneth Terry. What Eric said was your buddy took out Gwyneth. That's what he said. I never said that Terry took out Gwyneth.
But you chose not to correct him.
No.
That's strange, right?
Okay, and now
That's strange.
let's turn to Defense 87, move to admit.
So this got really intense. Do I have the clip here? Make sure I have the right one. I hope this is
Not
it.
taking up everyone's valuable time.
There was a lot in that deposition.
That question. Could you go ahead and read your transcript and
If you scroll down, it.
So he's being very defensive, and I would say
Why don't you ask him?
argumentative. This witness will not just say yes or no questions.
page 139?
And the lawyer, who has very been frustrating in the beginning,
Line
does step
24 to
up in this
25.
part and tries to be patient.
Are you with me?
No.
You're gonna
And
have
basically,
to,
every time this guy says, I don't remember, he's got to go pull the page number and do this whole charade, which is just annoying because it's clear the witness doesn't want to admit the things that he's asking
walk
for.
him through it, James.
I'm not sure how you scroll this down.
Just right on that page.
Let's read the question. Can I read the question on
Yeah,
page
yes.
139, line 24? Are you there?
Yes.
From the
What?
time Gwyneth stood up to the time she skied away, how much time was there? And your answer, go ahead and read it.
Sorry, I.
How much time went by there? Read your answer on lines 2-3 and 4.
Yeah, so it says here from the time she stood up until and then that's blocked out, and then it says, I don't know. Something was blocked out, and then it was cut off, and it says, I don't know.
Keep going. Just start reading.
It says maybe 10 minutes and then that's blocked off, and so it doesn't.
Line 6, is it 8 to 10 minutes, and what was your answer on line 8? Are you reading this?
Yes, I am.
What does line 8 say, the 3 words there?
I don't. Okay, it says about 8 minutes.
Thank you.
Yes, I am.
What is? Are you reading this?
Yes, I am.
What does line 8 say, the 3 words there?
I don't. Okay, it says about 8 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. This guy made it like pulling teeth.
Your Honor.
That can take place on redirect.
Which has already been ruled on. Okay. Let's start from scratch here.
Then he's got to go through this whole thing. It's wild. It's wild how difficult this is. And then I have one more clip here. Final cross.
This is your Facebook buddy, true?
Is he your Facebook friend?
He was on Facebook.
And you were friends with him?
Acquaintance.
So on Facebook, friends means friends. You're a friend of his on Facebook, or do we have to
There's
pull
people
that
that
up?
have 1,000 different friends on Facebook. I don't even.
Do we have to pull it up? We've got it.
Well, you can pull it up if you'd like. I don't even go on Facebook.
So the way this works is I ask a question.
Okay.
And if you say yes, we go on. And if you say no, then we pull it up.
Okay. Yes. We're on Facebook.
You're friends on Facebook.
Yes.
You're colorblind. True?
Somewhat, yes.
Well,
Yes.
in your deposition,
Yes.
you didn't
Yes.
say
Yes.
somewhat.
Yes. Sorry.
So one rule of the court is we can't talk over each other. So I'll complete my full question, then you complete your full answer. You're colorblind.
Yes.
And you don't know the color, the outfit, for instance, Miss Paltrow was wearing that day. True?
True.
And you don't know the color that Terry was wearing that day. True?
True.
And when they collided, it looked like one person going down. Is that true?
Yes.
You were on the other end of this courtroom about that far. True?
Yes.
But you're not just focused on Terry. True?
I was focused on Terry. Well, now could you please repeat that?
Sure. You weren't just focused on Terry, right? That's not.
No, it's false.
You were just focused on Terry?
I was focused on. Yes, I was focused on Terry.
Only on Terry at the top of the hill. I'm just going to watch Terry. Is that your.
No, I no.
Okay, you're focused on other things too.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Anyway, you get the gist of how this went down. This went on for another 45 minutes, this cross, where it was just very defensive. So that's where we stand. That's the best of the clips we have. We are live now on the trial. I'm here again as we go to the current, and there's a new witness, like a character witness is now
as
on
well,
live.
but was still hurting.
Nothing.
Did you seek
An
counseling?
hour to go. Cross examination.
For what was happening with Terry?
Well, I sought counseling for myself. Yes,
So this is another friend who was there. Brandon, correct me. Brandon's been watching this new witness that just showed up. We can start watching a bit of this, but I wanted to clip the portion of the show because I feel like the opening arguments and that first witness were pretty crucial to give you a very good sense of things to start. Let me know in the comments down below, and live viewers, we'll keep talking about this, but do you want me to keep covering this case? I feel like I got to at least cover Gwyneth's testimony because she's going to go on the stand. I'm a little torn right now. I got to say I'm Team Gwyneth, even though I don't love Gwyneth. As I said in the beginning, I got to be objective here. And yeah, there's something sus about this. There's something sus about these witnesses. There's definitely some sus stuff on Gwyneth's sides too, but which sus is going to weigh out due to Lady Justice? So far, I got to say that witness did not impress me. They did not impress me, and they were too argumentative, and that's something that I noticed. And I'm still hung up on the fact of why didn't he just correct the green coat guy? If he had corrected the green coat guy and said, no, she hit him, I would have been like, all right, this guy's committed. That's what happened. There it is. But no, something else is fishy here. Am I crazy? I want to see you guys vote in the poll. If you are watching live, what are you doing? We're here live all the time. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell for all alerts, smash that like button, and please, if you can, support. Hit those 3 little dots near there as well. You can also join, but next there to see the 3 little dots. In fact, I can show you here. Do they let you do it here? Usually it's here on they don't let you super thanks here, I guess. But if you go to the 3 little dots, you can super thanks. Doing this coverage takes a lot, guys. If you want it, please support it. Thank you guys for watching, tipping. I'm going to go through all your amazing tips and comments right now. On the live show, we're going to watch even more of the footage and more members-only portions. Yes, that's right. If you want to become a member, pick a tier, hit that join button, and join. Become a Planeteer today. You'll be helping supporting Popcorn Planet, our coverage, and so much more. Plus, if there's time, I'm going to talk about a Marilyn Manson journalist. Ooh, we're going to talk about that, and it's so much to talk about. Appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. And yes, we should be live again tomorrow covering the trial, so I hope you'll join us here.